Blessings, beautiful beings. Thank you so much for joining me today. For practice, if you want to grab some blocks, you can have a bolster or a pillow or blankets. You may or may not choose to use them, so that's going to be completely up to you. But if you want to go and run and grab those things, feel free to. And if you are practicing in real time, happy fall. It is fall here today when I'm recording this. It's the first day of fall of 2021, I guess I should say. So I have all my windows open. It's nice. There's a nice breeze here. So I hope everyone's having a good day and a first good day of fall, and this will be a good season. Alright, so if you've grabbed any props that you think you might need, and if you don't have props, that's okay. Don't feel like you have to have them. Or you can have something similar that's just lying around the house. It doesn't necessarily have to be exactly a yoga blanket or exactly blocks. You can use books stacked on top of each other. I have my strap here, but you don't necessarily need a strap for practice today. I just have it there in case I decide I want it. Alright, so we are going to start in a cross-legged seat. So you can grab a blanket or a towel if you would like. If you don't, it's okay too, no worries. You can bring, if you have a blanket or a pillow or something, you can bring it underneath your sits bones. That's going to lift your hips up a little bit above the knees, and it might feel more comfortable to you. Again, if you don't have it, no worries. It's perfectly fine. So we're going to come to this cross-legged seat. Do whatever with your feet feels comfortable. Your legs don't have to be almost to the ground or anything like that. You can have your palms facing down if you need to. Ground facing up is more of kind of a receiving posture. You can have them at your heart center. Just take whatever you feel you need today. This practice, I'm calling it yoga for uncertainty. There's lots of uncertain things happening in the world right now, and it's really important to go within and really trust our intuition. So when I do these videos, you don't have to follow me exactly. I'm just a guide. So I ask that you really listen to your body and into your intuition and do what feels right to you. Fritz agrees. Fritz, come in. Fritz thinks I need a dog hug. We're going to see if he can sit. Can you sit, please? Can you sit? No. But just listen to your own intuition and really listen to what your body needs and give it what it needs today. So I'm going to place my hands down. I need a little grounding today. And then if you feel comfortable and you don't have a dog in your face trying to lick it, go ahead and close down the eyes, or you can soften your gaze if that feels better to you. And we're going to take just a moment to focus on our breath. So feel the cool air as you breathe in, entering your nostrils. And then as you exhale, focus on the warm. That's either coming out of your nostrils, or if you're exhaling through your mouth, that's coming out of your mouth. So again, go with what feels right to you today. But focus on those sensations, that cool air as you breathe in and that warm air as you breathe out. Feels right to you, you can even set an intention for your practice today. Maybe it is to get more grounded. Maybe it is to go inward and seek answers that you're not finding from outside sources. I always hear the term that the answers are always inside of you. And I struggle with that because I do tend to doubt my gut, my intuition. I let my head take over probably 90% of the time. And yoga is just a really good tool to come back into your body and to feel into it so you can take those hints that you get from your gut and listen to your intuition. So it's always a good practice to have, to get more in tune with yourself and your body and what you feel within. Take one more breath. And let it all out. You can sigh it out, whatever feels right to you. All right, so we're going to transition onto hands and knees. Again, you can keep your blanket if you'd like. If you'd like some more padding under your knees, I'm actually going to have you, when you come to all four, first come to all fours, and then go ahead and take your knees as wide as the mat. Bring your big toes to touch. Look forward. And you can even walk your hands a little bit forward, kind of stretch them out. On an inhale, look forward, and on an exhale, sink your hips back and down. We're coming into an extended child's pose. Now you might need to be a little more up than this, or you might be able to rest your forearms on the ground and even bring your head to the ground. Go to where it feels comfortable to you today. If your head doesn't come to the ground, you can bring a pillow or a blanket or maybe even a yoga block, something to lift your head up on. Or if you don't have any of those things, you can even take your forearms and just rest your head on your forearms. So work with what you have, do what feels good to you today, and we are going to melt our heart space down to this ground and just breathe, kind of coming inward to our own little private kind of cave. You should feel a nice stretch through your armpits and through your upper back. Take one more big inhale and exhale. And after your next exhale, look forward. We're going to shift our weight back up and come back up to all fours. So from here, we're going to start to warm up the spine a little bit. So we're going to do one of my favorites, cat-cow. So go ahead and make sure your shoulders are stacked over your wrists and over your hands. Knees should be underneath the hips. Nice straight back for now. And on an inhale, drop through the lower ribs, lift through the hips, lift the head and chest, coming into a cow pose. On an exhale, go ahead and round through the spine, drop the tail, drop the head, cat pose. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the chest, lift the tail, cow. Exhale, round through the spine, tuck the head, tuck the pelvis, cow. So go ahead on the next few rounds and go with your breath. Maybe one pose feels better to stay in for longer than a breath, and if it does, feel free to stay there for as long as feels good to you. Maybe you need a little bit more opening in the chest, so you stay in cow a little bit longer. Or maybe it feels better on your spine to round through and stay there for a few breaths. So again, really tune into your intuition, listen to your body, respect it, give it what it's asking for, Make sure to just keep breathing as you do this. Don't try and force yourself into any sorts of poses or anything like that. Just go with what really feels good. Focus more on the sensation than trying to achieve a certain shape. Wherever you're at, go ahead and take one more cat-cow. Then after your next exhale, go ahead and come back to a tabletop position. Now from here, walk your hands a little bit forward. I'm going to remove my blanket here. And then go ahead and come down to your belly. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Feet straight out. I think the mailman might be coming, so it might get a little crazy here in a minute. On an inhale, press into your hands just a little bit, and we're going to lift our head and our chest up just slightly. So coming into a baby cobra, kind of warming up that back a little bit more. Don't push yourself and go so far that you're getting a lot of crunchiness in the back. So just try and keep as much length as possible. And breathe. On your next exhale, go ahead and lower your forehead to the floor. And then push yourself up to all fours. Again, your hands, if they are right underneath the shoulders, just walk them out one handprint in front of where they are. Go ahead and tuck your toes under. On an inhale, lift and hover the knees. And on an exhale, straighten through the legs and float the hips up, back, and down, coming into our first downward facing dog. If you need to warm up the legs at all, bend one knee and then bend the other. So we're just walking our dog here. Remember to keep breathing. And once you've had enough of that, go ahead and bring it to stillness. Really feeling that energy rising up from the ground through the back body and then back down into the ground through the legs. After your next exhale, go ahead and lower the knees back down to the ground and then bring your hands back underneath your shoulders. All right, so we are going to twist a little bit again. So go ahead and take your right hand, kind of bring it a little bit more towards the center. You can bring it out a little bit. Actually, go ahead and bring that in kind of towards your center line. On an inhale, go ahead and lift. Go ahead and like you're kind of, I don't know what to say, like smearing something up from the ground. And then lift your left arm up towards the ceiling. So we're taking a little bit of a twist here. And on an exhale, bring your left hand underneath your right hand. And you can bend that right arm and that elbow. I don't know if you can see it or not. But you're going to want to come down onto that left ear. And then breathe. So just a little twist in the upper back. Only go to where it feels comfortable for you. And once you're ready, go ahead and push yourself back up. You can reposition yourself, and if you had to reposition yourself to get into that kind of threading the needle pose, that's fine too. All right, so I'm going to really ground down through my left arm this time, and then I'm going to turn towards the right and extend my right arm up towards the ceiling. And on an exhale, I'm going to bring that back down and through and under my left arm, and I'm going to come to rest on my right ear. I'm going to go ahead and bend my left elbow, and I'm going to really feel into that twist in my upper back. Make sure to keep breathing while you do this. All right, on your next exhale, go ahead and push yourself back up and walk your hands just one handprint forward. Tuck your toes under. I think you guys know where I'm going now. On an inhale, lift the knees, hover for a moment, and then on an exhale, shift the hips up, back, and down, coming into your downward facing dog. And breathe. Take any movements that feel good to you. If you need to walk your dog a little bit, go ahead and do that. Otherwise, bring it to stillness and just breathe. Really make sure you're pushing into your thumb, your pointer finger, and your middle fingers. That'll help to take some pressure off of the wrists. After your next exhale, look forward at your hands, and then make your way up towards the top of the mat so you can hop, jump, step, float, however you choose to get there. And we're going to come into kind of a forward fold. So this is where if you have blocks or something to bring the floor to you, you can use that if that feels good. If not, then that's okay too. You can keep your hands on your shins. You can bend your knees as much as needed. Also, make sure you're not walking out through your knees. And just kind of release, and you can shake your head. On an inhale, we're going to come up halfway. Keep a nice flat back. And on an exhale, release into that forward fold. And just let it all go. Again, you can bend your knees as generously as you'd like. You should feel a nice stretch in your hamstrings. Sometimes I'll feel it in my lower back, depending on how much I bend my knees. And once you're ready, go ahead and roll all the way up and come into a standing position. So if you need to fix any of your clothes, feel free to do so. Loop your shoulders up, back, and down, and really feel that ground underneath your feet. Really ground down into the mat. And just breathe. You can close down the eyes if it feels good to you. You should feel the support of the earth underneath your feet, and that energy rising up through your body. So if your eyes are closed, go ahead and open them. We are going to transition into a little bit of a balancing pose. So we're getting started right with balancing. That helps to really focus, brings the focus back on you, because you can't balance when you're thinking about everything else. So we're going to try and bring the balance back into ourselves by doing balancing poses. All right, so we're going to kind of do a variation on eagle pose. So I don't know if you've seen eagles where you take your arms and they're all wrapped around and your legs all wrapped around. We're not going to do all that. You can if it's in your practice. I'm not going to do that, but if you feel you want to and that's in your practice, do it. I'm going to back off a little bit and do a little bit of a variation of it. I'm not going to do the arms. It's going to be more the legs. So I'm going to first shift my weight onto my right side. Make sure that when you do this, you're not dumping all the weight out and you're getting that like bomb hip shelf thing. Don't do that. Make sure to really pull up and feel your core and feel that energy rising up. I'm gonna get back so my head doesn't get caught up, cut off. All right, So then go ahead and just lift, and you can bring your hands, I'm going to bring my hands to my waist to start. I'm just going to put them somewhere. All right. So go ahead and lift the heel of your left foot up. Stay there for a minute, see how that feels. That feels good. Make sure to bring a little bend into your right knee. Lift the left leg up so it's kind of a standing one-legged mountain pose or standing or one-legged Tadasana. Take a couple breaths here. It helps with your balance if you focus on something that's not moving. I know it's kind of hard watching me and doing this. It's kind of hard with me watching myself and doing this. All right. If you want to go to the next level, go ahead and cross your left knee over your right knee and bring that right knee into a little bit more of a bend. Now you can stay here. If you'd like to wrap your leg around and come into more of that traditional eagle pose, you can. I'm just going to leave my leg here. You can leave your hands at your hips. You can bring them into heart center, or if you'd like, you can always bring them up overhead and kind of coming into like this one-legged squat almost. And breathe. Take one more breath. And then let it all go. Shake it out. If you fell out before we got done, that's perfectly fine. Don't feel like it's a failure. It's how you learn and how you grow. And it changes from day to day. Sometimes I'm not always that balanced. Both of my sides aren't that balanced most of the time. I'll probably fall out of my left side. We'll see. But don't get discouraged. It's a practice. So really treat it like that. Don't beat yourself up. Don't feel like it wasn't perfect and then start going over all the ways you're not. Don't let it spiral into something else that it's not. Just laugh it off, shake it off, and then we're going to do the other side. All right, so make sure your feet are nice and grounded. Shift your weight to the left side. Make sure to keep a little bit of a bend in your left knee. Don't lock it out. So a little bit of a bend. I'll put my hands on my hips. And when I'm ready, I'm going to lift on my right toes. So lifting that heel off the mat. And if this feels like enough for you, stay here. It's perfectly fine. If you'd like a little bit more, go ahead and lift that right knee up off the mat. You can even do some little ankle circles one way and then the other way. Make sure to breathe. Like a little bit more, bend through that left knee a little bit. Cross your right knee over the left knee. And then you can stay here. You can wrap your legs around into eagle, to a more traditional eagle if that's in your practice, or you can just stay here. Again, hands on the hips, the chest, heart center, or you can lift your arms up, whatever feels good to you. Just breathe and kind of swing here a little bit. Just fine. Just adapting to my circumstances. Okay, take one more breath. And a nice big exhale. Go ahead and rise up and come out of that pose. Shake it off. Give yourself a clap. Good job. All right, so I'm going to come back to the top of my mat. If you're already at the top of your mat, that's fine. If not, go ahead and come back to the top of your mat. Make sure you're nice and grounded. Roll your shoulders up, back, and down. Lift up through the chest. Hands at the sides. And then you can close your eyes or soften your gaze. Take just a couple moments to breathe. Really observe your body. See how it feels after doing that balancing pose. See how you feel. Tap into your inner dialogue and see what you're telling yourself about that part of the practice. If it's anything negative, Tell it to move on along. This is not a space for negativity and to beat yourself up and all of that. So you attempted it, and whatever level you were able to do that is perfect. That's where it feels good in your body. So lead with that. All right. On your next inhale, go ahead and lift your arms up towards the ceiling. Nice big reach, so we're coming into a volcano pose. You should feel a nice stretch on the sides. Inhale, exhale. One more inhale. And on your next exhale, go ahead and shift your hips back. Make sure to keep a little bit of a bend in the knee, and then come forward into a nice forward fold. Inhale, come up halfway, flat back, hands on shins. Exhale, lower all the way back down. And again, you can bend your knees as generously as you'd like. You can use blocks to bring the floor up to you. Whatever feels good in your body. On your next inhale, go ahead and step your right leg back. You can either leave your knee up, or you can lower it to the ground, whatever feels good to you. Actually, go ahead and come into a low lunge. Go ahead and lower your knee to the floor. Sorry, my phone ringer is on and everyone is texting me. So go ahead and lower your knee to the floor. Make sure your front knee, so my left knee is going to be at a 90-degree angle. Push that knee out towards your pinky toe, and then look forward. Again, you can come up on blocks here if that feels better to you, or you can have your fingertips on the floor, or if it's in your practice, you can even rise up out of this low lunge. You can lift your hands up towards the sky and breathe, so you have options. So go ahead and do what feels good in your body today. Take one more breath here. And then on an exhale, lower the arms if they're on the ground, or up on the ground. Lower them if they're on the ground. Lower them if they're in the sky. Go ahead and tuck your toes under of your right leg. Lift up, and then make sure your hands are planted nice and firmly on the ground. We're going to switch our legs. So step your left leg back, and then bring your right knee in. So we're just going to do a quick switch, and then go ahead and lower that left knee down to the mat. You can untuck the toes if it feels good, and then make sure to keep a nice lift in the front body. Right knee bent at a 90-degree angle, and you should feel a nice stretch in that hamstring. Again, you can be with your hands on the ground. You can have blocks to raise the floor up to you, or you can lift your arms up towards the ceiling. Just make sure you're not dumping. So make sure you've got a nice lift through the pelvis still, and breathe. A nice kind of crescent lunge. Your next exhale, go ahead and lower your hands to the mat. Make sure they're nice and planted. Tuck the toes under of your left foot. Lift through that left knee, and then we are going to step our right leg back to meet the left, coming into our first plank pose, and I believe this is the only plank pose. And breathe. Push away from the floor. Might feel a little bit of a shake. Push through it. Breathe. And on your next exhale, go ahead and push back up and down through your hips, coming into a downward facing dog. And from here, breathe. Your next inhale, look forward, and we're going to make our way back up to the top of the mat so you can walk, hop, jump, step, float. Your next inhale, come up halfway, flat back, hands on shins. Exhale, lower all the way down into your forward fold. And breathe. Your next inhale, go ahead and roll all the way up. Loop your shoulders up, back and down. Hands at your side, chest lifted. Feeling really grounded in the feet. We're going to take a few breaths here in mountain pose again. All right, once you are ready, let's go ahead and transition to the long edge of our mat. If you're not already, I'm going to adjust my clothes here so I don't give everyone a show. Go ahead and bring your feet nice and wide. Really ground down into your feet, feeling those outer edges. And you can bring your hands to your hips and really lift up through the chest. So a nice, strong power pose. So breathe. So yes, things might be uncertain. We might have a lot of things up in the air. We don't know what's going on. Things are crazy right now. We've got a lot of planets in retrograde. Everyone's acting nuts. So coming into this power pose can really help to reestablish your own power within yourself. So you always have the power within you to change your circumstances or to influence your circumstances. And it can always be for the better, or it could be for the worse. The choice is really kind of yours and what you decide to do with that information. All right, from here, go ahead and release your arms. And then start to hinge from your hips. Push your booty back. Keep a little bit of a bend in your knees, so don't lock your knees out. Bring your hands to the outside of your legs and slowly start to lower all the way forward. So we're going to come into a wide-legged forward fold. If your hands touch the mat, great. You might have to walk your hands out a little bit more, or you might need some blocks or something to bring the floor up to you, and if you do, that's fine. Go ahead and grab that and have that available to you. Or you might be able to lower your head closer to the floor. If you are, make sure that you're bringing your hands in line with your arches, and breathe. Sometimes we can feel like things are going wrong, and these inversions that we do, they can help us to see a different perspective. And sometimes that's what it takes when you're in an uncertain circumstance where you don't know what's going on or how to deal with a certain situation. Keep breathing. Next inhale, go ahead and really activate your core and push through those feet and start to rise up. Try and keep as flat of a back as you can while you do that. And once you're here, go ahead and walk your feet together. Again, loop your shoulders up, back and down, and then just observe how you feel. You should feel a nice rush of energy as that blood flows back the opposite way of how we just were. I'm going to come back up to the top of my mat. Inhale, lift the arms up overhead. Exhale, hinge at the hips, float the arms down. Inhale, halfway up, flat back. Exhale, let it all go, forward fold. And breathe. When you're ready, really make sure that your hands are in firmly in the mat. And then start to bend at your knees. You can lift your heels up off the floor and kind of just come down into like almost a little ball. Inhale, forward, exhale. Go ahead and round your forehead in towards your knees. You should feel a nice stretch on the back of your spine. And breathe. When you're ready, go ahead and you can walk your hands kind of back behind you and then come and sit with your booty on the floor. And then we can extend our legs out in front of us and come to lay on your back. Push my blocks a little bit out of the way there. All right. From here, go ahead and bring both your knees into the chest and just give yourself a nice big hug. You can wrap your arms around your knees if you'd like. You can bring your hands just to your knees. If you'd like, you can even bring your hands around your feet. Your head up. Again, whatever feels good to you today. When you're ready, go ahead and place your left heel on the floor and extend that leg all the way out and with your right knee in towards your chest. So you should feel a nice stretch here. You can kind of pull it up and in towards your armpit. On an inhale, go ahead and lower your right hand out, straight out from your shoulder. And then on an exhale, twist or bring that right knee over towards the left. So you're getting a nice twist. And you can have your left hand up on top of the knee. I like to place my foot on top of my inner thigh of the other foot that's not bent. So my right foot is on top of my inner left quad, thigh. And breathe. Make sure that your right shoulder blade is not coming up off the floor. If it is, back off a little bit and rise up. So only go to where it feels good in your body. You can turn to look towards your right hand if you'd like. Take one more breath. And then go ahead and return to center and bring both knees back into the chest again. And breathe. All right, we're going to do the other side. So go ahead and extend out through the right leg, straight out. Bring that left knee in towards your chest. We'll take a couple breaths here to start. And when you're ready, go ahead and extend out through that right palm, straight out from your shoulder. You can take that left foot to the inside of your right thigh if you'd like. And then we'll twist towards the right side. Again, don't crank it. Make sure that your left shoulder blade is still on the floor. Again, if it's coming up too far, back off a little bit. You can turn and look towards your left hand, or I'm going to look at my little Fritz being here. Poke at him, since he likes to poke at me. And make sure to keep breathing. You should feel a nice twist in your mid to lower back. Right after your next exhale, go ahead and return to center. This time, place both of your feet on the mat. And bring your feet as wide as the mat. So your outside edges of your feet should be to the outside edges of your mat. And once you're here, go ahead and bring your knees in together. So we're going to come into kind of a constructive rest pose. Look forward. Your hands can be up, down, or you can even bring the pinky side of your hand to the mat or to the floor. We'll take a few breaths here. We're going to take one more breath. Nice big exhale. All right, now bring your feet back, hips bone distance apart. And this time we're going to do the reverse. So we're going to bring our feet together, so the bottoms of our feet together, and then butterfly our knees out. So we're going into a reclined cobbler's pose. If your knees don't go all the way down to the floor, that's okay, mine don't either. If this is uncomfortable, you can always bring blocks or blankets underneath your thighs to kind of lift it up and support them. Otherwise, you can just breathe here. You can place your hands on your thighs if you'd like. Just don't press down to press down through the hips. This is a really big hip opening posture. And make sure to breathe. Take one more big inhale and exhale. And after that exhale, go ahead and straighten through one leg and then the other. So bring your feet as wide as your mat. You can let your toes just splay out. You can bring your hands out at a 45-degree angle again, palms facing up or down, or you can even have your little finger side of your hand on the floor. Make any adjustments or moves that you need to get comfortable. Get really comfortable. This is our final pose, Shavasana, corpse pose. So you can close down the eyes, just focus on your breath. Go inward and let just the benefits of your practice marinate. I'm going to go silent for a moment and let you have this time to relax, but I will keep watch of the time and I will wake everybody up here shortly. Well, that's relaxing. Alright, I apologize about that. The mailman is coming by, so it's going to get loud and crazy here in a minute. So the card I pulled today for practice was Cat Spirit, Claim Your Independence. And I actually pulled it in the upside down in the reverse, so that means that there's a protection message, so I'm going to go ahead and give that to you guys. It says, this may be the time you are facing some unpredictable situations. Are you hesitant to take a risk? Too cautious to jump into something new because you fear you can't trust yourself? Cat Spirit is saying, go for it, because you will land on your feet. If nothing seems to be going according to plan, there is no reason to worry. Cat Spirit loves to mix it up, and these seeming upsets will actually bring you some wondrous and unexpected opportunities. Get ready to pounce, as you may be called to jump into something new at a moment's notice. At this time, your instincts are keen and your intuition is sharp. Remember, even a temporary failure can lead to a spectacular success, so embrace the adventure. You are sure-footed and can trust yourself. That was a really nice message, just with everything that's been going on. So if you are ready to rock and roll with the rest of your day, then I'm going to start to wake you up. If you have enough time that you can stay in Shavasana for longer, stay as long as feels good to you. He's getting ready to bark again. So if you're ready to come out, go ahead and start to wiggle fingers and toes to bring movement back into your body. Start to deepen your breath. And when you're ready, go ahead and place your feet on the floor and then roll over to your favorite side. So if you weren't awake already, now you are. That was the mailman. He's usually by earlier, so it's just running late today. All right, so if you weren't already in a fetal position, go ahead and come into a fetal position on your side. Everyone will hopefully kind of relax. Hopefully these guys will relax here too. And then when you're ready, go ahead and push yourself up and come into a seated position, bringing your head and neck up last. So thank you for spending your time and your energy and your practice with me. I hope everyone has a good week. Make sure to really come back to yourself and listen to yourself and to your body, and give yourself what you need. Don't worry about making other people happy. Just give yourself what you need to feel good in your body today and for whatever you need. And if you like this video, please click like. You can subscribe to my channel. I do have a Patreon account, which is probably where you're seeing this since I'm not publishing it. But anyway, thank you so much again. Namaste.